again, I think the norm for having a residential real estate, we need to be at least at $200 a square foot. That means there's at least an increase of about 50–60% coming over the next few years, not several years, few years, maybe at 2 years, 3 years, or something like that. But imagine that, even at, let's say, an average 120, 50% is 180, you know, and that's really not that much of a square footage when at the record time we were at 240, 250. So even if we increase 50% from the current level, from the current price level, we're still at only 75% of the 2006 levels, which means there's still a 25% discount. And again, 2006 was not necessarily a bubble. It looked like a bubble, but all it was catching up with the real estate prices throughout the US and throughout the world. You know, I mean, you can get a 1,200 square foot apartment somewhere in Italy or in Spain or whatever for $1 million. Does that make sense? I mean, 1,000 square foot for $1 million, or a little more, $800 to $1,000 a square foot. I mean, this is nuts. So, but it's okay, because all we have is we can catch up. And then consider, for instance, China. You know, all the fluent Chinese investors and affluent people, they are purchasing their apartments and houses in China, where there's not the blue sky that we have. You know, we have blue sky everywhere. We got sunshine over 300 days a year. You know, we don't have any disasters. We don't even have earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, and whatever else. Sometimes a flash flood somewhere, but you know the warning, and you just don't go there. But it's just briefly. But I'm just saying, Las Vegas is a great place to be, and it is the place to be. But the key is that housing prices in Las Vegas at this time are only up 50–60% from the low, and that means they are only at about 50% from the high from 2006. So they're half price. You're getting something for half price. In commercial real estate, if the replacement value is twice what you're paying for, like a mega resort or whatever, that's a steal. That's a deal. It's not just a deal, it's a steal, you know? Meaning something costs like, if you would build it $1 billion and you can get it for $500 million, you know, that's a deal. And you can't beat that. And in commercial real estate, we saw that leading indicator in a sense, you know, because commercial real estate was at about 50% of replacement value last year in 2013, a little bit into 2014, but mostly in 2013. And now we're seeing increases also 40–50% in commercial real estate. And then we see the follow through with the houses. You know, the houses were leading actually in a sense from the recovery from 2012 for a year, or a little over a year and a half. And now we're on the verge of a brand new boom in SFR real estate in Las Vegas. All I want to say is that, you know, our housing market was dirt cheap in 2012, early 2012. You can still find our videos from late 2011 where we said it's an absolute no-brainer. You have to purchase homes in Las Vegas. You know, houses that were $300,000, we're talking average single-family residential SFRs, were suddenly selling for $80,000 to $100,000. That's a 65–70% discount from the highs of 2006. Now you can argue if 2006 was a bubble or not. I say it was simply catching up with the national average and with the international markets in real estate, because Las Vegas didn't do anything from the mid-90s to 2002. And then suddenly houses doubled to 2004, and then again another 50%, but actually a triple from 2002 on average, you know, because we were at like $80 a square foot. We went up to $240 a square foot in 2006, or $250 a square foot. You know, it was crazy. It was a crazy market. And many of you know we build over 50,000 homes a year. Right now we're not building 50,000 homes a year. You know, maybe we're building several thousand homes a year. But there's going to be, quote unquote, again, a type of housing shortage, because there's international people coming. They are cash buyers. They don't need financing, or they put 50% down, you know, minimal financing, and everybody's guaranteed financing. But in most cases, they have cash. And $300,000 is nothing to them, because in their home country, they are paying $1 million for an apartment. a small apartment, or maybe somewhere a country home outside of a metropolitan area. But in a metropolitan area, think about Vienna, Austria, think about Paris, France, London, you know. We're talking millions of dollars for a very nice apartment of a 3,000 square foot. You know, it's like almost impossible to get, but that costs many millions of dollars. Or New York City, you're talking Chicago, Miami, and LA, Bay Area. You know, it's like Seattle. It's still expensive, you know, and not that in Seattle you had $1 million for an apartment, but I'm just saying compared to Las Vegas, all those places cost a lot more than Las Vegas, and even Texas, which has an even keel in real estate, but even keel upward trend. You know, the prices here in Las Vegas are still dirt cheap compared to what they are anywhere else in this country, in any metropolitan area. And no area other than Orlando area, you know, has about 40 million visitors a year. So this is a great time to invest in houses, and buying houses hand over fist right now is the right record. You know, I don't know what people are waiting for. You know, always waiting for getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Yeah, you're missing out on deals. I know in early 2012, I ran in the doors of the hedge funds and everybody said, that's peanuts, you know. No, it's going to get cheaper and cheaper. It's not going to go cheaper. The reality is, you know, you just missed out on deals left and right. And when they got in, you know, the prices were already up like 20, 30%. You know, okay, the profit margins are shrinking, you know, and then they bought hand over fist. And then that's why housing prices, because the supply was eaten up, so to speak, you know, from cash buyers, the hedge funds and other investors. And then you had the $80,000, $100,000 house went to $150,000, $160,000, $170,000. But the reality is on the per square foot, the nice houses, they were around 65, you know, $65, which is very good because those were prices before the mid-90s, like 94, 95 approximately. 96 prices were around 75 bucks a square foot. That was dirt cheap. Many were already at 90 bucks, you know, a square foot. So what we had is a consolidation in 2014 right now, and house prices are about 120. You can get houses for $100 a square foot. Nice one. I just saw one in Henderson for $100 a square foot with a swimming pool, everything, you know, a nice house. So that's a steal. If you can buy that, if you can find it and buy it hand over fist, whatever you can. And now the next big thing. So we established that house prices right now are about half price from 2006, meaning you can double. But let's say you only make 50% in the next 2 or 3 years in house prices, which I think will happen. House prices will go up about 50% within the next 2 to 3 years, 24 to 36 months. We're at the end of 2014 in the Q4, and that's what I'm saying. You got 15, 16, 17, forget it. You're over 50% over the prices that we have right now, guaranteed. There's not enough supply, and builders will not be able to build enough homes for the demand that is coming. And that's already, we see already the demand being established, you know. But there's the next big thing, and the next big thing is that the banks just eased up lending. A few weeks ago, the banks they opened the floodgates. You know, everybody can lend. For my part, you know, I'm nobody special. I got like 26K at 0% financing for 18 months. 0% for 18 months. I didn't even ask. I got it in the mail. I got it in the mail saying $25,000 or $26,000. You can have 0% financing. There's a one-time fee of 3%, which is fine. You know, hey, what's going on? And then I got a friend, and he showed me his letter. He got like 2.99%, 1.99%. You know. So the banks are easing up, and they want to give money out now, especially for real estate. And Las Vegas is not risky real estate. That's why you don't have foreclosures anymore that many, you know, because people are hanging in there. They're putting their money into it. They're trying to get the money to stay in their houses because the housing market is on the verge of explosion in a positive way, in a price explosion. If we consider 50% an explosion. So you had an explosion in 2012, within 6 to 8 months, 50%. and then a little bit more over 60, 70, but still you're at half price from 2006. So a 50% explosion still leaves you at 75% of the prices of 2006, which gives you another 25% room for appreciation. So theoretically, you could double from right now. If you hang in there for 5 years or 6 years, the prices may very well double. And the reasons are, as we just said, the primary reasons are there's people coming with a lot of cash, and they're already coming here because I see them, I take them around. I hear this story, that story. You know, people are buying because it's cheap. International people are buying, and there's Europeans coming, but mostly Asians. People from Asia are buying. South America, Las Vegas is cheap. It's a great town, and there is a wonderful opportunity right here also for business people. You know, there's a lot of need for new businesses. We got a lot of retirement. The retirement community is increasing. People with discretionary income, meaning people who have money to spend. They have saved money, and they will purchase houses. They don't need financing. You know, in your retirement, you buy a nice house. Don't have to worry about a payment. You buy it cash because it's an investment. And when things don't go down, it's a no-brainer investment. You know, that's what you have in an investment. If there's a risk that you lose a little bit of money or even a large chunk of money, then that's not a good investment, risk reward. Right now, the reward ratio is so much better because, like I said, we had half price of 2006. To recap, we have the people, foreigners from Asia, and imagine there's over 300 million Chinese or 350 million Chinese that are affluent now, that have been integrated in the economic system. And they have a taste of capitalism, and it will just grow. And then they can purchase properties here, and there's not that many in Las Vegas. You know, even if there's 30,000 units or 25,000 units, it's not a big deal. You know, like I said, we used to build 50,000 a year, and you still couldn't get a house because you had to go to the lottery. Those who remember in 2002, you had to go to the lottery, and there's for every house there's 10 buyers or 15 buyers, 20 buyers for each house. And so a name was picked. You couldn't pick the lot, you couldn't pick the model, you couldn't pick the color, nothing. You know, that's how houses were sold in 2002, even 2004. You know, you had that during that time. People started the new construction, which was slow at that time, and then it increased into 2006. You know, and then it was just too fast. But again, now it's very healthy, you know, that we can have a housing increase. The next one is money. There's lots of cash floating around. There's also hedge funds who have plenty of money, who may do strange kind of financing deals, little banks or whatever, this thing, that thing, you know. So we have all these opportunities, but the bottom line is there's not really that much of supply, prices are low, and there's a lot of demand coming in. And we will be swept away in the spring of 2015. Absolutely. You will see after the new year, into the spring of 2015, you will see people buying houses hand over fist. And if you're smart, you buy it right now, no matter what. Don't negotiate much. Just pay the price. 120, 130 a square foot is a no-brainer. You know, you have to buy it. If you pay 140, that's still okay. 150 is still okay, because prices will be at $180 to $200 a square foot within about 24 to 36 months. And then you go into 60 months or 5 years out, you'll be at $240, 220 to 250 bucks a square foot. Now, just do the math again. It's double from now, and that's what will happen, guaranteed. And it's just a logical system. I'm not a prophet. I'm just going by research, but I'm a research expert for over 35 years. And we just go by the numbers, and it's the same story over and over again. Supply and demand. And the demand will not be satisfied by the new home builders. It's impossible to satisfy when it comes, even though right now they're even a little more expensive. So pre-owned homes is a super deal here in Las Vegas, and pick the cherries, you know, pick the best thing. You know, it's awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Until next time.